It was one of those nights where the rain never stopped. Not a storm, just a constant whispering drizzle that soaked everything in silence. I was on the highway, a good 30 miles outside the city, doing the graveyard shift at a remote toll booth. Yeah, they still had one of those out here. Most places had gone fully automatic, but not this stretch. Too old, they said. Too expensive to upgrade. So they paid me to sit inside a cramped booth from midnight to 6, pushing buttons and lifting the arm for the occasional trucker. The job wasn't hard, but it could get weird, especially when it rained like this. I always brought coffee and an old thermos, set up my Bluetooth speaker for some quiet jazz, and tried to make it through the shift with my sanity intact. Nights like these blurred together. Endless road, sheets of rain, and the hum of distant engines, but that night stood out. It started with a car that didn't look right. It rolled up just past 1:20 a.m., old, faded red paint, headlights flickering like a dying bulb. I leaned out of the booth and gave a half salute. The driver didn't roll the window down, just sat there. I waited a beat, then pressed the intercom. "Hey buddy, you good?" Nothing. I leaned closer, trying to see through the rain-smeared windshield. That's when I noticed there was no driver. I frowned. Maybe I was tired. Maybe the rain distorted my view. But no. When I stepped out of the booth with my flashlight, it confirmed what I'd feared. The car was on. Engine humming, wipers swaying, but no one was behind the wheel. I walked slowly around it, expecting some prank or a friend with a camera. The license plate was missing, the back seat empty, but the radio was playing something. Soft, barely audible under the rain. A woman's voice, singing. I leaned closer. She wasn't singing lyrics, just a lullaby-like hum. The sound was haunting. It felt familiar but ancient, like something my grandmother might have hummed in her sleep. I was about to open the driver's side door when the car suddenly drove forward. The gate hadn't even lifted. It just rolled ahead like it had been released from something invisible. And then it vanished into the rain. No brake lights, no tail lights, nothing. I stood in the middle of the lane, soaked and breathless. I reported it over the radio, of course. They told me to log it and move on. Might be one of those remote drive tests, my supervisor mumbled. Tech people doing weird stuff again. But I knew it wasn't that. At 2:13 a.m., the exact same car returned, same fading red, same flickering lights. Only this time, the window rolled down, and I saw me in the driver's seat. Not someone who looked like me, it was me. Same jacket, same scruffy beard, same tired eyes, but the eyes, they looked empty. I stumbled back, heart thudding like a war drum. My mind raced for some logical explanation. Was I hallucinating? Was someone playing a deepfake trick? But before I could even speak, the me inside the car looked at me, tilted his head, and smiled, and then drove forward, disappearing into the mist again. I didn't chase it this time. I went back into the booth and locked the door. Every sound suddenly felt louder. The raindrops, the static of the radio, the distant echo of tires on wet asphalt. I watched the road obsessively. Every shadow looked like that car. Every pair of headlights made my breath hitch. Around 3:45 a.m. a knock came at the glass. I jumped so hard I nearly knocked over my thermos. It was a man, tall, wearing a dark green raincoat with the hood pulled low. He was drenched but smiled politely. "Sorry," he said, voice low. "Had a breakdown a few miles back. Phone died. Mind if I sit in here a bit? Just to get out of the rain?" I hesitated, but it was protocol. We were supposed to assist stranded travelers, so I nodded and opened the booth. He stepped inside, his boots leaving puddles on the floor. He smelled faintly like rust. He didn't speak at first, just stood there dripping, staring at the monitor that showed live highway footage. After a long silence, he finally spoke again. "You've seen it, haven't you?" I turned toward him, confused. "Seen what?" "The red car." I froze. "How did you—" "They always come back here," he said. "Always during the night shift, during the rain." His voice had shifted, become flatter, duller, like someone reading from memory. "You've seen yourself in the car. Most do." My mouth was dry. "What is it?" He looked at me with the saddest eyes I'd ever seen. "It's not a car," he whispered. "It's a warning." Then he reached into his coat pocket. I took a step back, heart racing. "Hey, what are you doing?" But he didn't pull out a weapon. He pulled out a folded photograph. He handed it to me. It was old, water-stained, but clear enough. It showed the booth, my booth, and sitting inside was me. But in the photo I looked older, weary, eyes hollowed out, like someone who had spent years waiting for something to end. "Don't let it take you," the man said. And then he opened the door and walked back into the rain. I rushed out after him, but he was already gone. No footsteps, no sound, just the road. The red car never returned that night, but it has returned since. Same time, same rain, always just watching, waiting. Sometimes I think about quitting, but I'm scared that if I do, I'll wake up one night, on a lonely road, driving that red car, looking for myself at a toll booth that never sleeps. You can't even imagine how it feels, but just stop and think. What if it's not just a story? What if it's real? Then what would you do?